So, everything is horrible in the world, and don't worry, it's gonna get worse. But as a palate cleanser from whatever horrible thing you just clicked away from, I wanted to tell you about the stray puppy I adopted last year. Her name is Willow. She is a roughly 1.5-year-old terrier mix, and most days she is the only thing that brings me any real joy. What are you doing, puppy dog? At the time, I was a ranger at Mesa Verde National Park, and I was pretty lonely. Winter, as a permanent ranger, tends to be. I was dating somebody at the time, but she lived pretty far away, and I was only fairly recently removed from a 4-year relationship. I'd also only lived there for about 4 months at that point since I'd moved from Carlsbad, New Mexico. It was also January 2025, and I was a National Park Service ranger, so connect the dots. One day I was on a phone call with my dad, and he mentioned that my mom had picked up a stray puppy. She had seen a group of them near the side of the road and had gone out and tried to get them, and she could only manage to get one who didn't run away from her. And this puppy was sick, flea infested, had worms, the works. So she took her to the vet, fed her, all of that. Here you go, puppy dog. There you go. And the vet estimated at that point that she was about 6 months old. Now, she tried to take her to the shelter, but the shelter was full. So I decided that given my situation, maybe it was time for me to get a dog. I was going home for my birthday in March anyway, so I decided that when I did, I would bring her back to Colorado with me. And when it came time to pick a name for her, I stepped out my front door and I saw a narrow-leaf willow growing up through a crack in the concrete. Now, mind you, I lived in the desert part of Colorado, the southwest corner. Mesa Verde is extremely arid, and despite that, for whatever unseen reason, this wet weather plant was growing here. It was scrappy, defying the odds, and surviving. And that felt right. So I decided to name her Willow. I met her for the first time on my 27th birthday. And as is the case with many strays, Willow was extremely afraid of me at first. In fact, she was pretty much afraid of everybody. So my first meeting with her was pretty much just her staring at me from across the room and then barking and running away if I got any closer. But after a few days, she did start to warm up to me. It started with her getting comfortable enough to sleep next to me on the couch, and then eventually she started staying in my room at night, and we formed a really close bond just in the 2 weeks that I was home. And when I left, I took her with me back to Colorado. I got her spayed, microchipped, got her all the shots, established a routine, and the rest of 2025 was really rough for me for a lot of reasons. There was obviously all of the stuff going on that it was affecting all park rangers, but there were also plenty of other things happening in my personal life. Safe to say 2025 was not a good year for me, but Willow was there for me through all of it. And even on my worst days, I still put my heart and soul into taking care of her. We went on lots of fun adventures together. I took her camping for the first time, which she absolutely loved and she still loves. Here we are in Silverton, Colorado during a trip on the $1 Million Highway. I took her hiking all over the San Juan Mountains and likewise all over the desert. Mesa Verde is in kind of a cool spot because you only have to drive about an hour in either direction to be either in the mountains or in the desert. However, there were some drawbacks to our living situation for her. Firstly, living inside a national park in park housing, I had to take her out on walks pretty frequently, and being a terrier puppy with a ton of energy, it just was never enough to get her energy fully out. It was really hard to actually wear her out. And we eventually moved into a different park housing unit, which had a little fenced-in playground area near it that we could walk to, and I could let her off leash to play. But even that really wasn't enough. At the end of 2025, for many reasons, I decided that it was time to move on from the Park Service. That's a story for another time. And I moved closer to family. So Willow is, of course, still with me. She's been reunited with her 2 best friends, my parents' dogs. She has a big yard that she can run around in and play all day. She is the best thing that I've got going in my life, and getting her was the best decision that I have made in years. She's been a central part of my own healing journey from the last 2 years of my life, and I can't wait to show more of her.